So if you have any sales questions, then now is the time to ask them and I will answer them. You can really ask me anything. And I have so many things I could say about sales lately. All right, we are just going to go for it. So hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's sales training live stream. Today, I want to talk to you guys about sales coaching. This might be a totally foreign concept to you. Maybe it's something you've had before. Maybe it's something you're currently in. Maybe it's something you've wondered about. Wherever you are on the spectrum with it, I wanted to just talk about what it is, what I wish I would have known about it sooner, and to help you decide whether or not looking into it or pursuing it would be right for you. So in a nutshell, as you all may or may not know, I do general business coaching in general. It's really not that general. I actually do specifically marketing and mindset with my clients. I kind of pride myself on not focusing too much on things like social media or I don't know, other sort of like marketing du jour concepts that can kind of come and go. What I really try to work on with my clients is helping them see sales strategies and planning strategies that they can use, rinse and repeat, no matter what platform, no matter where they are, no matter if they're on social media or not, and really allow their sales to flourish because they have such kind of a I think it's a pretty foolproof strategy, but like a very resilient strategy and a resilient understanding of sales and what they're selling and how they can go about the world selling more of it. So what I mean when I talk about sales coaching is really just coaching that's specifically about your sales. But here's where I want to point something out about this concept, because I think if you hear it on face value, it's easy to just think that someone's going to tell you to make more money or talk to you about how to make more money. And like, that's true. You know, I'm sure most people that either want sales coaching or are sales coaches can help you make more money. But here's what I think is really important about it, and not what I think not everyone does right or not everyone understands. Coaching is meant to be about you, if you're a coach, supporting your client in finding the answer that's best for them. It's very different than teaching, which is where you're just sort of telling them an answer or telling them a strategy or telling them what to do. And if you really want, especially entrepreneurs, to see results that last long term, actually really with any coaching relationship, like whether you're a health coach or a relationship coach or a mindset coach or whatever the case may be, if you want your client to be able to have the same kind of results beyond the work that you two do together, you want to make sure that you're not falling into that teaching category and that you're continuing to do coaching work. And that's where coaching techniques come in. And I'm not going to get into like how to be a good coach right now. But my point is, with sales specifically, I think it's very easy, both as a coach and as an entrepreneur who has coaches, to look for the right sales strategy. I'm saying that in quotations, the perfect sales strategy, the next sales strategy, the most effective sales strategy. And I'm all about learning strategies, sharing strategies, if that's helpful to you. And I know I get really inspired by learning the strategies from other people. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But it kind of then goes into that teaching area, that teaching arena where people are just sort of looking for a strategy that they can use. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I am celebrating 6 years since I bought my domain. And I have not spent the last 6 years taking risks, getting scared, doing things scared, spending money, spending all the money I had, doing everything I could to make it back, quitting my 9-to-5 job, getting laughed at, getting mean messages. I'm getting like the most hate I've ever gotten in my career on TikTok right now, which is hilarious. My point is, I didn't go through all of that to not run a business on my own terms. And I'm guessing if you're watching this and if you're an entrepreneur, you feel the same way. You did this because you want to have a business that is yours, and you want to have a lifestyle that is yours, and you want to have an income and financial situation that feels good to you. Please understand clearly, and if there's nothing else you take away from this video, understand this. That won't happen if you are shaping your business in a way someone else is just telling you to do it. And that is where good sales coaching can come in. That's where you're creating a strategy that is designed by alignment with what you want out of your business, out of your skills and your talents, out of your relationship with your clients, out of your relationship with money, and out of your lifestyle. Now, where this gets tricky, and what I've really had to, I have to be really upfront with this, is that it can be easier to give someone a strategy And likewise, when you're on the receiving end, sometimes you just want a strategy. Sometimes you don't want to be coached. Sometimes you literally just want to shake the person across the computer and be like, oh my God, just tell me what to do. I'll do anything to make 5 figures a month, 6 figures a year, whatever. I was on the other end of that computer at a time. There was a time where if someone just would have, I would have paid anyone anything if they could have just told me what to do, because I was so ready for my life and finances to change. We all know how this feels in other areas of our life, even if we don't necessarily feel that about sales right now. Maybe you have had a situation where you're not sure what to do about a relationship you're in. It's going well, but there's some red flags and you are serious, but you don't know if you want to move forward or whatever. And sometimes you have those moments where you just say, oh my God, what I would give to have a crystal ball where someone could just tell me what to do. I don't know what to do. The same has probably happened in your career before, or, it happens in so many different situations in our life where we feel like there must be an answer somewhere to the situation that we're in. We just don't have it right now and we can't figure it out. And the truth is that the answer is always within us. And the truth is that doesn't mean we always know what it is. I think sometimes it can feel like a slap in the face when people are like, oh, just look inside and your intuition will tell you the answer. And you're like, I've been looking and I got nothing. And that's where coaching comes in. So I want to make this clear, because if you end up doing sales coaching with me or with someone else, but I just want to illustrate clearly what makes a good experience with it, you might get frustrated at times, because at times you might be like, listen, I'm here because I want to learn to make money. Just tell me what to do to make money. And a good sales coach won't do that. They won't just be like, oh, here, go run this Facebook ad, and here's a template of a sales email, and here's a script for a sales call, and there you go, you'll make money. Even if that did work, which it probably wouldn't, because that didn't actually take into consideration your product or service, your personality, your goals, your energy, your alignment. But even if it did, that's not sustainable. You haven't actually learned how to cultivate that trust within yourself and that intimacy with yourself to understand the sales strategy that will work best for you long-term, and that will help you adjust when you want to make bigger sales, when you want to have bigger goals achieved, when you want to do something new, something different. That is what entrepreneurship is all about. It's always changing. It's always evolving. So all this is to say, to summarize it in kind of like a more concise outline, good sales coaching is about having someone help you, or you can coach yourself, or whatever the experience is, to find a sales strategy that works for you, not to go take a page out of someone else's business outline or business plan and plug it into your email marketing software, your social media, and your website and see if you get the same results. This doesn't mean that you can't be inspired by other people's strategies or you can't try them if you like them, but if you do, it's only because you've been properly coached and understood and decided that that is a strategy that feels good for you and your business, and that makes sense for your goals and for your your business model. For example, let's say that you were selling a $10,000 service. Maybe you have a high ticket consulting package or coaching package or whatever. And you see someone on social media be really successful by promoting a program that they have. Maybe that's not quite as much, but still a good amount of money, maybe like $1,000 or $2,000. And they make, 6-7 figures doing it or something like that, really successful. It's very easy to go and look at their social media posts and look at their time frame and look at the type of way that they did this and look at their sales page and kind of try to borrow and utilize their framework within your own launch. In this situation, though, without even having any context about who this would be, I'm just trying to give you an example, that probably would not make sense, because the pricing is different, and you often would need to be on a phone call with someone at that price point, not just for them, but for you as well, to make sure that that's a good fit. It also would depend on the type of following you have, the type of following the other person has, how long the other person's been doing this, how long you've been doing this, how willing you are to do personal outreach, how much personal outreach they did behind the scenes that you can't even see. So I hope that I'm just trying to give you an example here of how good sales coaching will help you pull out your specific strategy and not just make you copy someone else's. Along with that, because of that, sometimes you will get frustrated along the way because you will just want an answer. You will just want that money to appear. You will just want that goal to be achieved. And if you keep shopping around for the coach that just brings you that answer on a silver platter, you are, whether knowingly or unknowingly, victimized by shiny object syndrome at that moment, because you're looking for an answer outside of yourself and you're continuing to look until you find what you think you want, when in reality, you probably had that in you all along. And if you were patient and allowed it to come out, it probably could have, and you probably could have perfected it, and it would have been a lot more sustainable in that way. And so what I wish I would have known about sales coaching is that I think the biggest thing is, first of all, that I needed to stop looking for a perfect way to do things or a business plan that would work perfectly for me. And, you know, one of the reasons that my clients are so successful, especially when I think of like if I were to just take my top 5 most successful clients, many of them, I think all of them have 6-figure businesses. Few of them have 7-figure businesses. Not one of them has the same sales strategy. I'm just thinking right now off the top. One relies almost entirely on referrals. One does a lot of personal outreach. And like, it's not even personal necessarily. They do a lot of cold outreach. That works really well for them. One does it uses Instagram pretty much exclusively, sometimes emails, sometimes some sales emails. One does kind of in-person networking and things like that, you know, in-person sales. So they're all different. They're all different. And it's because they've all taken the time to cultivate what they want to do. They've done the mindset work. They have aggressive goals, and they know that because there's no one way to get there, there's no point getting stuck on the way or on the road, proverbially speaking, and they continue to go and move forward. And that's how they achieve their goals so quickly. So what I also wish I would have known and wish I really could go back and tell myself is that sales training and like doing work on sales coaching is probably the best investment I could have made in my business. Now, this might not be the case for you. I'm not saying that as a blanket statement. Remember, everyone's business is different, but here's how you might know if it would benefit you or if it's something you should consider. Here's how I know it would have helped me. I wasn't making that many sales. I wasn't making enough sales. And I think that what we often forget, because it's easy to go behind the scenes and like pretend isn't true, is that if you don't have sales consistently and supporting you, you don't have a business. That's just the blanket truth. There's very few like intrinsic facts in the world, I believe, but that is one. If you don't have sales, then it's just not a business. It's either a hobby or a passion project or charity at that point, to be totally blunt. And I wasn't making enough sales, or if I was, they were sporadic, or if I was, they weren't high ticket enough, or if I was, there was a lot of like fear behind it and charged from it. And it just felt very scattered and very inconsistent and very scary, if I'm being honest. And I denied having to have like a sales training. In fact, when I would hear people talk about like, oh, take my sales course, I'd be like, that 1 sounds overwhelming. 2, I don't want to do it. I don't want to go into this like psychology, you know, experience where I'm like learning about how people think about sales. Like, I just don't want to do it. It all felt so airy to me. And I had read a few books on sales and they just like, they weren't helpful. They weren't applicable. It didn't work for me. So it was far easier to look at these shiny programs and offerings and courses that talked about like how to grow your Instagram following or how to make an e-course, because I made $30,000 for my e-course on the beach of Bora Bora with a, you know, appletini in my hand or whatever. So I would do all of that. And a lot of that would make me feel really productive because I'd be behind the scenes making a course or planning my Instagram or doing cold emails or whatever these courses were teaching me, but I wasn't making sales. See the pattern here? It's like you can do all these things. You can kind of fluff things up as much as you want. You can make things as pretty as you want, but the core has to be sales. And when I really started diving into this, you know, sales for me felt like the biggest weakness when I started my business. It was the thing I had the most anxiety about. It was the thing that I felt like I had the biggest disadvantage of. I had never sold anything in my life when I started. And it was something that I really just felt like I had a disadvantage in, because I felt like every other entrepreneur either had a sales background or they had a better background than me or whatever. And I'm so grateful I felt that way, you know, because I flipped that. Because I felt like I was at a lower place with it than everyone else, I have put more effort into learning sales than almost anyone I know, which is why I'm now able to teach them. And I think I'm the best person you can hire if you want sales coaching, because I don't have a sales background, probably like you. Most entrepreneurs get into this because they love health coaching. They love photography. They love design. They love Instagram. They love the actual work that their product or service does or creates. Sales is usually not on the forefront of what people love to do. It's usually definitely not on the top of the list of what they feel good about doing. So expecting yourself to sell what you want to sell and the amount that you want and make the income you want just because your product or service is good is honestly just naive thinking. And I don't say that to be cold. I really believe anything's possible. But why would you rob yourself of that potential? And why would you rob yourself of how much you could make and how effortless this could be and how many more people could get your product or service in their hands with a proper understanding of sales? So if you feel like you're in that circumstance, if any of those kind of ring true for you, like you didn't have a background in sales, maybe you feel like sales is a weak point of yours, if it always feels like it's something that's just a little stressful, if it feels like something that's inconsistent, or if it feels like your sales process is not yours, then I think that those are good signs that sales coaching could be helpful for you. If you would want a sales coach with me, I do it in all my programs, so you don't really have to do it in one way. My program, specifically Signature Sales, is the most focused on sales, and it goes everywhere from the extreme mindset kind of understanding of sales, which I think is the most powerful part, frankly, because then you really don't ever have to worry about how sales would work again. But then it does include all of the strategy and all of the different ways you could consider making a sale, and kind of gives you this resource bank at your fingertips so that you can just sort of get inspired by those and play with them within your business, depending on what feels good and what matches your goals. If you're not ready for that, if you're not selling something yet, then look at our side hustle program. It is a baseline program for business. It's really just going to get you kind of, in the initial phases of business. But we have a whole module on sales. I do a whole call on sales. You definitely have a whole resource on sales. And I've seen a lot of relatively beginner business courses. I've taken a lot of them myself, and I've never seen any that include as much support around sales directly as Scale Your Side Hustle does. So if you're still building the website, building the audience, building the platform, building the dream, the vision, but you want to have sales sprinkled in, then consider Scale Your Side Hustle. Finally, if you are already at that 6, even 7-figure mark and you are just ready to ramp up your sales, or maybe you need to kind of like mix up your sales strategy, or you needed to just get to that next level where you're not kind of maybe spending as much time on it as you are now, or it's not feeling as cumbersome as it is now, then consider a VIP day with me, because that's really what those are for, is to be undistracted, really focused, and remove yourself from the day-to-day life of your business and re-strategize what you want to do next. So there's lots of ways you can work with me, but even if you don't, I hope that this video gave you some context about what type of sales approach I encourage you to take within your business, how it should and can be customized for you specifically, how there's no one perfect way to have a successful sale. I've done probably 15 group program launches in my career, many of which have been 6-figure launches or at least $50,000 launches. And we've done those in several different strategies. So even within one business, you can have different strategies. It's not about finding the perfect one. It's about implementing the one that's right for you at the time, getting accountability, getting support, and really making the most of it for you. And I would love to help you do that. But no matter what, I hope that this gave you some insight and some inspiration to think about sales in a way that will be sustainable, that will really help you grow, and that will help you make the sales that you so want and so deserve. If you have any questions about any of my programs, you can DM me, or I will leave a comment below this video. But no matter what, I hope you guys found this helpful, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.